Well, hello again from RGO, Rogue Gorilla Outdoors, story time podcast. It's been a little while. Thought I'd get back on here and do another video on the podcast. So this one's going to be about my first buck with a bow and my second buck with a bow. Both a little different. They were both taken in the same areas, just different things going on. But let's get into it. So with my first buck, it'd been several years since I'd started bow hunting. I just hadn't connected on anything, hadn't had a chance to even draw back really on very many deer within good range. I was with two buddies. It was mid-morning. I think it was around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Anyways, we were going up this road, this country road that had a lot of deer in the area. There was a mixture of BLM land and private land, and the deer would kind of roll through both depending on the time of day. You could catch them anywhere. We were almost to the turnaround point on the road, and we saw some deer go across the road, and I was like, sweet. So I hopped out, scuttled off the road, kind of went down, try to get out in front of him. Well, this buck happened to be bedded down. As I was doing that, I noticed this buck was bedded down about 20-30 yards off down the hill. So I made my way towards him. Wasn't very alarmed at me at all. He was a younger buck. And noticed he only had one antler and a stub on the other side. And I'm okay with that. It's first come, first serve, my motto at the time. And I just needed him to stand up. So I kind of just go right at him. And he stands up, and I'm about 30 yards. I put that thing, he's square to me. I put that thing and pin it right into the V of the neck, where the neck kind of comes in, and you get that little bit of a V. And I pop him, and he does a Michael. The best description is a Michael Jordan. All four legs are up off the ground. He lands face first right into the arrow, right into the ground. Kind of rolls over, flops around. He's kind of spinning, and like all four legs are spinning, and he just takes off running down the hill off the side. And I'm 30, 40 yards away from my buddies. They're up off the road. They're just off the road, and they're hooping and hollering and carrying on, and yay. And I'm like, get back to him, and I'm like, okay, let's try to give him like 30 minutes or so. Let's let him do that. Well, I think we gave him like maybe 10. We were so excited, and he really did need like 30 minutes, because we got on the blood trail, and I mean, it is just a spray, like a spray of from about hip height. It's just red. Everything is just red. And we're thinking, oh man, he's going to be done. He's done. He's done. He's going to be dead right where we find him. Well, we go about 30 yards, and kind of coming in, and the trail's starting to turn a little bit to the right, and we kind of look over, and there he is, bedded down, head down, leaning forward. But you could see he's just kind of sucking air and then letting it back out. We're like, no way. And this is where I found out that I am an absolute horrid second shot person. About 20 yards, just gentleman running. I was not able to shoot him. He got up, started running. We didn't go very far, stopped again. I tried shooting him again, did not work. And there's some points in hunting where things get done that it can make or break you. And we got it done. We got the deer down. Was not with an arrow. Was not with a side arm. And those are the kind of moments where you're tested in what you believe, I guess. And it shook me for a little bit. I remember my friend, my oldest friend that was with me, he was just like, look, he goes, don't let that shake you. You know, that type of stuff kind of happens, and you got to finish it out. You know, when you start it, you got to finish it out. Don't let it rattle you. You know, it doesn't always happen that way, but you have to finish it out. And you know, it did put a little bit of a damper on it. You know, I shook it off there to get go. We did the pictures, the gut, and got him back home, skinned him out, stuff like that. And you know, it was eye-opening, because it was up close and personal, and I would have much rather had a good follow-up shot or two to put him down. But yeah, now I call him my ugly buck, and he's mounted out in my garage. And you know, that buck started it all, as far as like knowing that for sure bow hunting was what I wanted to do. You know, I knew I wanted to get into it years back, but I definitely was all about it after that. You know, and that was in 2006. So then fast forward to the next year, and that was the first day of the late season for me that year. I just happened to happen into it like that. So my first buck with a bow, yeah, was killed the first day of late season in November. And then the following year in 2007, I went hard all late season, and I was super frustrated. I'd had a really, really, really nice buck come in on me, and I took a shot and I'd missed, and I was just getting frustrated. Went out the next day, jumped some deer, couldn't get it down. You know, it was getting late into the season. We're running down to the end of the wire within a couple days, and I just couldn't get it done. And it was the last day, and I was just feeling down and out. And this is where you got to pull through, and you got to just grind it out. And in the moment, it's hard, because you just don't feel like you want to. Let's just give it up. Let's forget it. It's not working. But you can't. I mean, it might not turn out like it did for me in 2007, but you can't, because you'll never know. Like, what if? So last day, I have this buck. No, it wasn't the last day. It was just the day before. It was the day before the last day, because I had to go back up that evening with a friend. So anyways, I'd had some stuff happen. Things were not looking good for me on the last day. The whole season, looking back at it, it wasn't bad, but at the time it was just one thing after another. I was trying to figure out what to do, and I'm on this bench, and if you're looking northward, facing northward, on my right hand side, it goes down into a creek, and there's a big clearing over there, and then it rolls up onto the other knoll, or finger, however you want to describe it. And the deer like to go back and forth through there. They like to bed on that side. They'll bed up higher than I was. They'll come down and eat. And at the time, there was a separation, trees, the small pines separated the upper half of this bench to the lower half. And I just crossed through that, and I was on the upper part of it, and I just couldn't figure out what to do. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go over to the creek side and get into that clearing. I wasn't sure what to do. I'd walked over there. I just didn't feel it. I walked back, so I'm now almost middle of the saddle on the upper side of it and the north side of it. And I'm sitting there and I stand. I turn around and I'm facing downhill, facing south. The clearing is now on my left, and I'm sitting there and I'm just pacing back and forth. And there's a game trail that I'm on, and it runs parallel with me, so it runs from east to west. And out of the corner of my eye, I catch movement. I look over, and here comes this yearling up out of the clearing, up out of the creek. And I'm like, oh! I just dropped to my knees. So now I'm on my knees. I'm arrow knocked, and I'm watching them come, and they're coming down this trail. Now I'm about 3 feet off this trail, and they're coming because the yearling comes up, then the doe comes up, and I've like something's hot in their trail. Sure enough, here comes this buck, gorgeous 4x4. I still haven't found or seen a buck with the markings this one had. Like, the coloration of this deer was just phenomenal. Like, couldn't get any better. They just keep coming. They're coming right at me. The yearling and the doe right in front of me, 3 feet away, could have reached out and touched them, ran right by me. That buck, he stayed down below them 4 or 5 feet just off the trail, and he was coming up. Well, they went right by me. He just, bam, was on me. Like, just stopped. He was on me. Well, at that point, he's only like 10 yards away from me. And I'm like, I got to do something, because, he's going to go after the deer. Those two left. He's going to go after him. He's not sure what's going on. It was cold, so there was a little bit of steam coming off from breath, stuff like that. Well, I decide now's as good as any, so as I stand, I'm pulling back. So I'm standing up and drawing at the same time. Do that. He goes from about 10 yards to 20 yards, stops behind a big oak tree, and then just steps out. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better shot. 20 yards, broadside shot. His vitals were open. I let loose. And he was 20 yards. And I used my 30-yard pin. Smacked that oak tree so hard. Oh, he took off like a rocket. Anyways, I wasn't sure. I knew I hit the tree, but I didn't know if I hit him or, in the bounce or anything like that. So I came back that evening with my buddy. We looked, decided that there was no chance that I hit this deer. Super frustrated. The next day is the last day. Just frustrated as all get out. I go out. Again, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I go to do the same area. I'm hunting from a little bit different angle. I'm not seeing anything. I don't see anything, like not even does. So I go, well, I'm going to go for a drive. I'm going to go where I was last year when I shot my buck, and I'm going to see if there's anything over there. So there's a patch of BLM off of this road. It's a pretty big patch, actually, because I shot my first buck on the upper half of it. This buck was on the lower half. Anyways, I saw some deer run across the road when I was going up. Pulled off, parked. They'd went onto the BLM side of it. So I was like, well, if I can get around them, I can maybe cut them off. And so I hopped out, got around, dropped down, and I don't think it was the deer that I saw. But anyways, here's this forked horn, nose right up this doe's butt. I mean, just cared less that I was there. I kind of wiggled into 30 yards, put the pin on, and just dropped hammer. And it was one of those things where you see it in your mind's eye. As soon as you you squeeze that trigger, and everything starts moving. The string starts going, the cams start rolling over. It's you can't stop it now. The doe kind of wiggles forward. The buck wants to follow, starts to follow. Your shot now is not where it should be. And I think I've just got shot this deer. Well, they go running back across the road. I'm watching them running across the road. up into some private property. Now I'm like, oh, great. So now I got to go see if this person will even let me on the property to get the deer, or if I'm going to have to call the sheriff's department to have, it can be a whole ball of wax. So I was like, you know what? I haven't eaten. Let's go get some food and we'll come back. We know about where it was at. I picked up my arrow. It didn't smell like gut, but I wasn't quite sure at that point. I hadn't done enough shooting to understand what I was smelling. Hindsight, I was smelling liver, and he went about 80, 90 yards. He was about 20 yards onto the private property. Anyways, I go get something to eat, come back, go up, knock on the door, said, hey, I was on the other side of the road hunting, and I shot this buck. It ran your direction, crossed the road onto your property. Can I look for it? Guy's like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. Normally nobody even comes and looks for him. He's like, I have dead deer out here all the time. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. That's really crappy. I want mine. And to be fair, when I shot him, it was the last day, and all I knew was he was a forked horn. That's all I knew. He was legal, and that was all the stipulation I had. He grew. There was no ground shrinkage with this buck at all. He grew. And I was able to get him and get him in the truck. I didn't get him there because I didn't want to leave a mess for the gentleman on his property. And he's 98 and some change, and gross is like 95 or something like that. So he's a good solid forked horn. But it's just a difference in year to year. 1 year is the first day, 1 year is the last day. The first day is like, oh, well, now my season's done. I just hung it up. I didn't even really get to start. The next year, I've went all season, hunted really hard, had some extremely, extremely frustrating events happen, missing deer, some close calls, thinking I'm not going to get anything. Last day is just not turning out the way I thought it was going to. And then to have an opportunity to redeem myself and get that buck was just a really good feeling, and on a very good buck. So